This is Part 2, Episode 73. In Zhonbai's eyes, the trip to the Celestial Realm was his disgrace. Seng Nyo was a nobody who dared to ignore him. If that Seng Nyo had helped him, they would have easily killed the person chasing him. I didn't think that Seng Nyo could take an arm from Red Butterfly. Now that person is famous throughout Suzaku. HMPH, that fame should have been mine. Just you wait, Seng Nyo, one day we will have our fight. Zhonbai sneered, but soon he frowned and muttered, Seng Nyo's Thundertoad is a natural enemy to my insects, so it will be a bit difficult. His eyes lit up and he made up his mind. This time, he had to go deeper into the 9-ghost desolate valley and get the king insect. With the insect king, even the Thundertoad will lose its effect. It is smarter if I don't anger Seng Nyo before that happens. If that person was able to take an arm off Red Butterfly, then his cultivation level must not really be early-stage soul formation like he shows on the surface. However, Suzaku is very large. Even if I want to mess with him, it will be hard to locate him. Zhonbai snorted. After just the blink of an eye, he arrived outside of the Cloud Sky Sect. The Cloud Sky Sect was surrounded by white clouds. These clouds were not natural, but a sect protection formation. Not only did this formation protect the sect, it also had the ability to hide spiritual energy fluctuations from within. Zhonbai floated in the sky and looked at the clouds for a bit. He let out a smile of contempt and shouted, Juniors of the Cloud Sky Sect, listen well. Open up the sect protection formation, bring out all your pills, and your sect master is to come out to greet me personally. The Cloud Sky Sect was completely silent. After a while, a weak and gentle voice came of the Cloud Sky Sect. However, the voice was filled with determination. Senior is a soul formation cultivator. Why make it difficult on a small sect like our? If there is any need for pills, then please ask us. My Cloud Sky Sect will do its best to fulfill your needs. Zhonbai revealed a mocking expression and said, Oh. I guess you are the Cloud Sky Sect's sect master. Junior is the Cloud Sky Sect's sect master. Senior, please don't make it difficult for a small sect like ours, Li Muwen's voice continued. It was still as alluring as it was in the past and was filled with gentleness. Zhonbai snorted and said, I have to see just what kind of beauty this sect master of the Cloud Sky Sect is. With that, he reached toward the white clouds and made a grabbing motion. With a series of crackling sounds, the white clouds quickly collapsed. But they quickly formed again. What is this? This formation is mysterious. It wasn't placed by your Cloud Sky Sect. Zhonbai's eyes lit up. Li Muwen let out a sigh and said, Senior, this formation was placed by the Giant Demon Clan to protect my Cloud Sky Sect. Consider giving Giant Demon Clan some face, and not make it difficult for us. Giant Demon Clan, Zhonbai pondered for a bit before waving his hand. All of the insects around him attacked the clouds. A wave of munching sounds came from the white clouds. This sound eventually got so loud that it covered up the humming of the insects. What about the Giant Demon Clan? Even if Kai Hu himself comes, he won't get angry with me over a mere Cloud Sky Sect. Zhonbai smiled and reached out again. Bang! With a loud bang, the one of the white clouds collapsed, causing all of the other clouds to disappear as well. A shock wave spread out, and within the shockwave a ray of light disappeared. As the white cloud disappeared, a series of buildings made of spirit stone appeared before Zhonbai. Looking at the endless rows of buildings made of spirit stone that didn't seem to end, Zhonbai's eyes bulged out. He looked for a very long time before letting out a laugh and said, This Cloud Sky Sect is simply too rich. It is made of spirit stones. Although this scale can't match the Celestial Realm, there aren't many places like this in Suzaku. Ha ha, from today onward, this place is mine. The sect protection formation was easily destroyed. The people inside the Cloud Sky Sect were filled with despair. Zhonbai took one step and entered the Cloud Sky Sect. He was surrounded by a 100-foot thick wall of insects. Some of the female disciples with lower cultivation levels were so scared that they started crying. Zhonbai reached out. A few of the Cloud Sky Sect disciples were caught by an invisible force. A group of insects broke off from the horde and jumped onto the disciples. Miserable screams quickly echoed as the disciples were covered by the insects. The insects were crawling all over them, and some of them had even entered their bodies. Shrill screams landed in the ears of the Cloud Sky sect's disciples. These screams almost tore their hearts apart. Stop! Li Muwen jumped up into the air. Around her stood several people. They all stared at John Bai with ugly expressions. John Bai let out a mischievous smile. He waved his hand and the shrill scream from the disciples became even louder. A few seconds later, the insects came out of their bodies. The disciples suddenly became very weak and fell from the sky. Li Muwen's face went pale. She could only stare dumbfoundedly at the disciples. Blood leaked out from the corner of her mouth, her body trembled, and her eyes were filled with hatred as she looked at John Bai. With her personality, it was very rare for her to look at someone like that. John Bai's gaze landed on Li Muwen. He said, "Not bad. You really are a beauty. What is your name?" Li Muwen remained silent. "Oh? Not going to speak? That's too bad." John Bai let out a smile and waved his hand. The insects around him spread out and covered the entire Cloud Sky sect. John Bai only needed to wave his hand and the insects would jump on any living thing and devour it. Although these insects were only the size of a thumb, they were extremely bloodthirsty. If one looked closely, they would see that John Bai's eyes were almost exactly the same as these insects. "Stop, my name is Li Muwen," a wave of shame filled Li Muwen. She had no choice. She couldn't just watch the disciples of the Cloud Sky sect die. A few days ago, she started sending disciples away, but there were still thousands that decided to stay. The reason these people stayed was because they saw the Cloud Sky sect as their home. They were willing to fight for their home. Even if they died, they wouldn't regret it. Even Liu Fei and Song Qing, the two late-stage nascent soul head elders, decided to stay. A white-haired old man took a step forward, blocking Li Muwen, and said to John Bai, "Senior, if you have any request, please speak." John Bai's eyes lit up. He stared at the old man and said, with contempt, "My demands. My demand is very simple. I am going to kill all of you, take all the pills, and seal this place to be my personal palace. As for you, your name is Li Muwen. You are very pretty, and have a certain grace to you. You can be my maid." One of the nascent soul cultivators, who was an old woman, shouted, "You go too far." She was able to reach the nascent soul stage because of Li Muwen. When John Bai spoke those words, she lost herself in anger, forgetting the difference in cultivation levels, so she shouted out loud. John Bai's expression darkened. His eyes became bloodshot as he said, "It looks like I was too kind. Okay, I'll destroy the Cloud Sky sect." With that, he waved his right hand and the surrounding insects started to attack everyone. As for the old woman, when John Bai waved his hand, many insects attacked her. She let out miserable screams. Even her nascent soul was devoured. This scene shook everyone's hearts. Miserable screams filled the Cloud Sky sect. Li Muwen let out a sad smile. She then coughed out a mouthful of blood and bit her lower lip. Even the elders around her were attacked by countless insects. Each of them tried their best to resist, but even the two late-stage nascent soul elders were having a lot of trouble. These insects were very strange. No treasures or spells seemed to have any effect on them. At this moment, aside from Li Muwen, everyone in the Cloud Sky sect was fighting with the insects. Li Muwen bit her lower lip. Her eyes were filled with despair. John Bai looked at Li Muwen with interest. He rubbed his chin and said, "To be honest, I have wiped out many sects, and you are the fourth female sect master. Although your cultivation isn't very good, you would make a good host for my parasites." With that, he pointed at her and a drop of blood suddenly flew out of his finger. The drop of blood turned into a vicious insect that jumped toward Li Muwen. However, as soon as the insect leapt at her, a black mass appeared on her forehead. The black mass turned into the shape of the small creature, which devoured the blood insect. The blood insect was screaming miserably at first, but that sound slowly faded. The small creature floated around Li Muwen and stared viciously at John Bai. John Bai was shocked. He looked at the small creature and whispered, "Soul beast." Li Muwen pondered. She looked toward the distance and whispered, "Big brother Wang, let us meet in the next life." Big brother Wang. Ha ha, could it be that Wang? What was it, Lin? John Bai let out a laugh. After arriving in Chu, he had heard the name Wang Lin from quite a few people. He even heard it from members of the other sects as they died. Your country of Chu is very strange. This Wang Lin seems to be very famous. Who exactly is he? John Bai let out a loud laugh. His laugh was filled with arrogance. His eyes lit up and he said, with contempt, "I'm now really curious about who this Wang Lin really is. I'm also curious about how you managed to make all of these nascent soul cultivators willing to die with you with your cultivation level. Because she is my woman. I am Wang Lin," a cold voice spoke from behind John Bai. At the same time as the voice appeared, countless black wandering souls arrived like demons descending from the sky and charged toward the insects. Several insects had already drilled into Liu Fei's body. His eyes were filled with despair when a cold wind blew over him. The insects inside his body came out and ran like they had just met their natural predator. Liu Fei was startled. His gaze fell on a not-so-large figure behind John Bai. It is him. Song Qing's eyes were bloodshot. He had used up almost all of his spiritual energy, but the insects kept coming wave after wave. He let out a sad smile. He was almost out of spiritual energy, and he didn't even have time to take out pills. After pausing for just a moment, the insects covered his body. The pain was driving him mad. He let out a pitiful smile, and was about to explode his nascent soul when a cold wind blew by. His body trembled. The insects inside and outside of his body all screamed and quickly fled. Song Qing was startled. He looked at the 70% foreign, but 30% familiar figure behind John Bai. It is him. At this moment, the two remaining late-stage nascent soul head elders also felt the cold wind. They were also startled and then they saw that figure. It is him. All of the Cloud Sky sect disciples that were still alive felt a cold wind enter their bodies, and then the insects all screamed while they escaped. It is him. Almost all of the disciples raised their heads and saw that person. Li Muwen stared at the person behind John Bai. She couldn't stop the tears in her eyes. Although Wang Lin's figure was a bit different from 100 years ago, she was able to immediately recognize him. Wang Lin. John Bai quivered ever so slightly. Up until now, he didn't notice that person at all, meaning that his cultivation level was higher than his. He suddenly turned and saw Wang Lin. His face was filled with disbelief. He subconsciously took a few steps back and shouted, "You! Seng Nyo!" The entire Cloud Sky sect was about to reach a boiling point when John Bai shouted the name Seng Nyo. Seng Nyo. Very few in the Cloud Sky sect didn't know this name. The most famous person in Suzaku right now was Seng Nyo. Seng Nyo. Some of the lower-ranked disciples were filled with shock. Seng Nyo. Liu Fei was completely stunned. Seng Nyo. Song Qing felt his mind shaking. The two late-stage nascent soul head elders' eyes glowed like they had never glowed before. Wang Lin's eyes became very cold. This coldness had only ever appeared when he was killing the Ting family. This coldness meant that Wang Lin's anger had reached its peak and he was about to kill. It is you who wants to wipe out the Cloud Sky sect. Wang Lin's voice was as cold as the cold winds of the underworld. This cold wind landed on John Bai's body. To him, it felt colder than any wind he had ever experienced before. Wang Lin, who was able to take Red Butterfly's arm, appeared behind John Bai without being noticed. This shocked John Bai greatly. Before the battle even started, he already had thoughts of retreating. John Bai said, Seng Nyo, I didn't know you were from the Cloud Sky sect. This time I was reckless. Reckless? Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he suddenly charged forward. The restriction flag came out of his bag of holding and turned into a black fog that charged toward John Bai. John Bai's expression changed. He immediately backed up. Reckless. Wang Lin let out a mad laugh. His hand formed a seal and then pointed forward. Dragons made of the restriction fog came out from the black fog and gathered before Wang Lin, condensing into a lance. This lance was able to even shock Red Butterfly. She had to use her life treasure to defend against it. The moment the lance appeared, the sky darkened. Black fog covered the sky, and all of the insects let out sharp shrills, as if they had met their natural enemy. John Bai's expression changed greatly. He continued to back up. Wang Lin grabbed the lance and chased after John Bai. Time. Wang Lin let out a shout and 9 carvings immediately flew out. They each grew into the size of a real person in the air and spread out. John Bai's retreating body suddenly slowed down. Reckless. During this pause, Wang Lin's lance lunged forward with a thunderous roar. John Bai let out a roar. His hand formed a seal and the image of a centipede suddenly appeared on his forehead. Countless legs appeared all over John Bai's body, forming a cocoon around him. The power of the lance could move the heavens and earth. Bang! With a bang, the lance landed upon the flesh cocoon. The restriction fog drilled into the cocoon viciously. The flesh cocoon immediately collapsed, and at that moment, John Bai quickly backed out from the cocoon. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood. There were countless maggots squirming inside this blood. It would make anyone's skin crawl. Seng Nyo. Don't push me too far. John Bai's eyes were completely bloodshot, and his voice was hoarse. He was completely shaken. The domain inside Wang Lin's lance made his injuries even worse. If it wasn't for his domain being so special, he would have been heavily wounded by Wang Lin already. Bully? Then today I'm going to bully you. Wang Lin's eyes were still cold. His right hand suddenly pointed forward, and a very ordinary-looking ray of spiritual energy shot toward John Bai. Domain attack. His expression was very ugly. Without any hesitation, he turned around with the intention to escape. How could Wang Lin let him escape? He quickly chased after John Bai and pointed at him. The surrounding wandering souls immediately came from all directions to stop him from retreating. John Bai's face was ashen. He was about to escape with teleportation, when Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He swiped his hand down, and with a loud tearing sound, a spatial rift appeared. The spatial rift appeared right as John Bai was about to teleport. If he really did teleport, then he would be torn in half by the spatial rift. Madman. John Bai was terrified. He quickly stopped his teleportation. As cold winds blew out from the rift, the ground began to crack and the surrounding spiritual energy was sucked into it. John Bai had seen crazy people, and he had killed soul formation cultivators before, but he was terrified of Wang Lin right now. Wang Lin had the most combat experience out of all the people he had faced. Just tearing open a rift was something all soul formation cultivators could do. However, it was the first time John Bai had seen it used to prevent teleportation. Opening such a big rift would cause Chu to lose its spiritual energy, meaning that this was simply too crazy. Wang Lin's eyes were still cold. As he continued to move toward, he pointed at the sky. Rings of light suddenly appeared behind him, forming a giant black and white scroll. You are lucky. You are going to be the second offering to the life and death domain. Wang Lin's voice was cold. His right hand pointed at John Bai as he said, changes of life and death. The scroll behind him seemed to be disturbed by a giant hand and was opened. The scroll covered more than 10 kilometers, and looked very majestic. Even the spatial rift closed before the power of the scroll. Slivers of grey mist spread out from the scroll. This was the first time he had used his domain at full power. He used all he had learned and understood about life and death and the heavenly reincarnation cycle in this attack. John Bai secretly complained, but he was a proud person. His eyes were completely bloodshot as he slapped his bag of holding, causing a swarm of red insects to appear. John Bai shouted, Seng Nyo, there is no death grudge between us. Why must you go so far? I only killed a few disciples of your Cloud Sky sect. Now there is. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he pointed at Zhon Bai. A thunderous roar came from the scroll and a vortex appeared. The vortex was surrounded by thick, grey fog. If one looked closely, they would see people's faces within the vortex. All of them were people who had died by Wang Lin's hand. This was Wang Lin's life and death domain. It was another heavenly reincarnation cycle, his own cycle. Unless Zhon Bai's domain had also reached the mid-stage of soul formation, then resistance was futile. The bugs beside Zhon Bai all let out miserable screams, before dropping toward the ground. Every single bug was caught by a mass of grey gas and absorbed into the vortex. Zhon Bai's bloodshot eyes revealed a hint of his very well-hidden fear. He let out a roar and pointed at his forehead. The centipede appeared again, and a rainbow-colored gas appeared on his forehead. This gas in almost an instant turned in a 100-meter-long centipede. What was most scary about this centipede was that there was another head under its head, and that head looked just like Zhon Bai. This was his origin soul. Back when he was in the Nine-Ghost Desolate Valley, he fused with the soul of this beast to reach the soul formation stage. The domain he comprehended was the way of the insect beast. He used the body of a beast to use the power of the heavens. The heavens were cruel. Humans could kill beasts, so beasts could kill humans. Humans could eat beasts, so beasts could eat humans. If humans could become immortals, then that meant that beasts could also become immortals. Why would humans be the root of it all? Zhon Bai's Tao was to use the soul of a beast as the root. The moment his origin soul appeared, he let out a roar and left his body. It flew up into the air, opened its mouth, and charged toward the vortex. Wang Lin's eyes sparkled as he said, arrogant. With a boom, the vortex suddenly expanded and devoured Zhon Bai's origin soul like the ruthless heavens. Waves of miserable screams came from within, but they soon faded. The scroll disappeared and everything returned back to normal like nothing had ever happened. Wang Lin waved his right hand and Zhon Bai's body collapsed into a pile of flesh and blood. There were maggots everywhere inside his body, releasing a very foul smell. This video will end here.